Thank you, Jeff, for having me. Thank you. So, for those of you who don't know me, I'm a bit of a musical multitasker. I'm a player and a singer and composer. I've done a lot of work for television. You may know me as the voice of VH1's pop-up video, which has just revamped and has integrated Facebook and Twitter functionalities into it. But I'm also, I worked as the site editor of Spiral Frog, you may know, as the free ad-supported download service that was going to kill iTunes. So we're still waiting on that. And finally, I also ran Blender magazine's website, blender.com, for a couple of years. So I've done a lot of interviewing, observing, and also playing. I toured the world and toured the country many times. So I've been watching the music industry from several different angles, almost simultaneously. And music really is one of like the true canaries in the coal mine of social media. So I wanted to talk about the humanization of the hit song, and it's really it's impressed upon me from all of the work that I've done that the music industry itself, when it began, was built on dehumanizing principles. I think that's the main problem or issue that they've had the entire time, mostly because it was the only game in town. It had access to everything: recording, touring, distribution, marketing, money. It was everything. And as a result of having all the control, a myth built up around it. And that develops when you're the only game in town. You get your VIP rooms, your velvet ropes, your walled gardens, and stuff like that. And of course, then once you have the myth, it can't help but extend to your brand. And your brand, of course, in this case, is the rock star. The rock star, a myth in itself, is already the only game in town because they created the town, basically. They've all created who they are. David Lee Roth is David Lee Roth. There's no second David Lee Roth. You can't go for a knockoff David Lee Roth. Well, you could, but you know, we all know there's only one Diamond Dave. This shamanistic sort of spokesman for the generation speaks via the hit song. This is where I stop being cynical, and I do say that in the product, in the song, there is magic. There is true humanizing magic. And I can't think of, I'm sure you've all had the moment where you're trying to find a word, you're trying to express something inexpressible, and a lyric just comes out because it is saying what you've wanted to say. That is so powerful, and I think we all understand that. And it is the basis upon which the entire music industry is built. My opinion, others would say, no, the iPod. I disagree. But I would also say that the same humanizing factor is evidenced in the iPod as in the song. It has that same quality, the same ability to express and to access something needed. Of course, the internet came and exploded everything. Exploded the myth and created a debate. The debate being, who owns the myth? Who gets to tell anybody what to do? Who controls it? And this is where we've been watching, I think, in the end of the millennium here into 2011, fantastic success and fantastic failure at trying to answer this question. And I had this moment where this idea came to me while following Slash on Twitter. Slash, the puffy-haired guitarist of Guns N' Roses. We all know, we all love Paradise City and Sweet Child of Mine. Do we not? I mean, please. We do. He began to tweet, and if you know Guns N' Roses, a myth, a humongous myth. They're this wild rock band. They eat cigarettes and drink Jack Daniels exclusively. That's all they do. And they rock out, and that's that. So I follow Slash on Twitter, and his tweet was, "Off to the dentist. Damn, I hate a cleaning." And I was like, oh my God, there's a branding problem here with Slash. I don't want to know that Slash goes to the dentist. I don't want to know that he has teeth that are not, you know, plutonium, and then he doesn't eat snakes, and like he's the guy that the songs have been telling me he is. He is the myth. I don't want to know about him. Does he put his hat on for the cleaning? Like, I don't want to know. I don't want to be there. I don't want to be there for that. The other huge disaster, I thought, was the Ozzy Osbourne show that came on in the mid, was it 90s or late 90s or wherever it was. Prince of Darkness was being brought up on charges based on his own lyrics that he was helping commit suicide. And then he goes from that to sort of half bumbling Sharon this, Sharon that, and the myth died. And it comes to all of us, I think, in the music industry and in all industries to decide how human is your brand going to be, and what kind of human are you actually even talking about? Because there are several different types. It's interesting to think what would have happened if we all knew in 1976 that the Kiss Alive record was not live, and in many cases was not Kiss. This would have come out on Twitter or Facebook within hours, and we would have had the un-auto-tuned versions of everything, and that entire myth would have been stripped. Who knows what would have happened to Kiss? On the other hand, we have the new Gene Simmons show, where he's wobbling around, still maybe marrying his girlfriend, maybe not. He's got his makeup off, and he's made a branding decision, and I would say a phenomenally poor one. But I have to return then to the song and the human kernel of the song and think, maybe they just didn't have that. Maybe that's just not what they were about. So maybe it was a good branding decision. Anything to stay in front of the camera is a great marketing decision, if you're Gene Simmons. So for a brand, and I think music shows this so well, are you a warts and all kind of human brand, which would be, you know, bands who put up their own demos, they tell everything, they show pictures of their fridge, they show pictures of their wife, of their engagement with their wife, perhaps, or husband, or whatever it is, and that becomes an actual marketing move, and it becomes something that gives access and becomes humanizing in its way. Or are you someone else who I thought was so interesting? Tom Waits just came out with a record called Bad As Me. And he's going out and he's doing interviews, and as an interviewer, I know I could not get an interview with him. I said I would watch him eat breakfast silently and just videotape it, and I would be happy. That's the kind of fan I am of his. And he goes out to the interviews now, and he's just blatantly lies. Everything he says is, you have to read some of these interviews that are just coming out. They're just fantastic lies. Tom, what kind of bands do you listen to? And he'll be like, I like Johnny Roller Skates and the 11 Fingers and, you know, Dolphin Green and the Exit Sign. These aren't bands. You know, it's just like, and he's just saying things, but the fans know what he's doing, and they're connecting to the lie that he's telling. And the fantastic thing to me is, what is more human than fiction? And what is more humanizing than an amazing story told really well? And that's what Tom does. He maintains his dignity. He has a co-writer named Kathleen Brennan that he's a wife. That's his wife. I've never seen her. She's never spoken. He maintains his own integrity, and he continues to humanize his brand via the lie. It's fantastic. So I guess my question then, the debate that I hope people are having is, how human is your brand going to be? I mean, we watched IBM. Like, I don't need to see the inside of the fridge of IBM. I need to see something else about IBM. Gene Simmons, put the makeup back on. Tom Waits, keep lying. Keep the makeup on. It's a very interesting question. It's one that I ask myself as an artist, and I hope you're asking as well. Jeff, thank you so much. And I'll see you guys soon.